wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Yep, it's the world's most dangerous morning show, The Breakfast Club. Charlamagne the God, DJ Envy, Jess Hilarious. But Envy and Jess aren't here today. But Loren LoRosa is. And we got two special guests in the building. They have a new book out called No Holds Barred, a dual manifesto of sexual exploration and power. The host of the Decisions podcast, Mandii and Weezy, are here.
I love that we're back with you.
Who can drop one of Clues bombs?
Good morning. Dropping the clues bomb for Decisions, damn it. How do y'all feeling today's release day?
Oh my God, we are authors, baby. We are authors.
That's why I put a suit on.
It's a see-through suit.
All right.
I'm joking.
Well, no,
I
I get a so I want another
good.
theme. You know, it's not like I'm selling get rich or die lying.
Yes.
So I was
you
like,
look good.
no holes, gotta have holes in the suit.
Okay.
No, I'm excited. We're so excited.
Tell us about the book. It's titled No Holds Barred. Why?
Well, first off, if any of you listen to podcasts, we have been doing this for 8 years now, and our show was Horrible Decisions before the rebrand of Decisions. To me, it was really important to keep the pun. We kind of started our brand off of a pun, no holes barred. It's funny because during an interview, someone literally described us as having no holds barred. And so in terms of writing the book, we knew that we didn't want to lean into any of the slurs anymore. We wanted this to be able to be sold wherever books are, which they are right now today.
Everywhere.
But we wanted it to be in airports. We wanted also people, being New Yorkers, to not be ashamed to read it on the train or at work in front of their coworkers. And so, yeah, we had fun with the title. And that's kind of how the name came about.
I'm not gonna lie, I put it down a lot.
Why?
Oh,
It's a
here we go.
lot.
They give you a warning in the beginning.
They do, but I'm a dad, so it's a lot. Because, you really get to know what women are thinking, and y'all don't hold anything back. And I've been listening to the podcast for years. I know y'all personally, but it's just something about the book. I think y'all dug a lot deeper.
It's meant to be something that doesn't feel connected to Mandii and I. And I remember texting you this, and I would love people to know this and hear this from my mouth. My biggest fear with this book, Mandii and I have an amazing podcast, but people may hear about drama or a breakup or an argument. And I kept thinking they would think that has to do with this book. Right. Or maybe the book won't be good because it's Mandii and Weezy. It's literally two women exploring sexuality, teaching you empathy, showing you what they learned. And it's not very Mandii Weezy. If you're a fan of the show, it is. But these are stories that people have been needing to hear for years. And that's the thing about not wanting to put our faces on it either, right? Because you got the podcast that may deter people for whatever reason. Maybe they're too young, maybe it's too sexual overtly, whatever it is. This book is everything that people may have not have wanted to watch. It gets deeper, it's more eloquent. It's stories that tie into every single person. And I always wonder too, like, are men gonna like it? But I realize if you read this book as a man that dates women, that has daughters, you're like, okay, I understand now. The empathy, my homeboys called me like, yo, I didn't realize I was doing certain things to women. Like, I'm a terrible, partner. And I didn't know how manipulative I could be, et cetera. What women will feel while reading certain stories about pleasure, about exploration, like, it's just told in a different way. On the show, we've been so fun and silly. Now we get to really be for real and intentional.
It's going to make you ask a lot of questions to the women in your life.
Yeah, I said that if anyone's curious at, like, really the full scope of it, my comp for this is Chicken Soup meets Zane. So
I
you
agree
have
wholeheartedly.
you have the self-help version of it. You have the, like, where I'm holding the mirror up to myself, talking about the things that I needed to unlearn. But then we also add the erotic element in it. So we get into details about our sexual experiences.
It's a fun back and forth.
Yeah,
like,
it's a really good back and forth.
Balancing for the book while reading. So it's not that Mandii and I wrote the stories together. You read one story and one that's kind of on the same theme. So it's broken up into pain. Oops, sorry.
Pleasure, pain, progression, and power. The 4 Ps.
Yeah,
the 4 Ps. Power of the P.
Her birth control alarm went off.
It's been going off every morning interview.
Oh my God, did you take it?
Girl, we gonna have to cut this. I get that.
But you got to get a shot?
No.
It's a birth control pill.
Okay.
So basically in the book, what happens is, let's say you're reading pain. It might be a BDSM story. Then it may be a story about an assault. It may be you getting spanked. It may be heartbreak. So it's pain and pleasure from, like, every aspect. And it gets real fun to just, like, jump around. You're like, ooh, it gets sexy. Ooh, it gets dark. I think I've never read a book like this, like erotic self-help.
Erotic self-help.
Listen, the BDSM story was a lot.
Was it?
Mandii seemed to. It's weird, right? Because Mandii seemed to enjoy the BDSM. Her story seemed a little bit more okay. This is what BDSM should be. Yours,
Yes.
Weezy, felt like you really just wanted to get dominated in ways that.
Oh, on the leash?
The dude that made you sit by the door on your knees and.
Oh, that was fire. You know what's crazy?
That is BDSM. That's some people's pleasure.
To be the man said, and this is the funny part, y'all. So, while reading the story, it feels sexier, but here's what was going on in my real head. The dude made me turn around. I wasn't allowed to look at him until he was inside of me. So I'm thinking he's gonna walk in the door first. He said, no, turn around. So I'm just sitting there at the front door. I'm like, oh, please don't let this be the super. Like, I don't know what's going on. So when he comes in, I'm still just facing the window, not looking at him. I'm completely blindfolded. I'm like hands tied behind my back, everything. And he's just still back there. Now he's starting to make a drink and do shit. And I'm like, I'm just sitting here.
Oh yeah, my BDSM chapter was so different. I talk about going to a dungeon 3 different times. And one time was learning the art of pleasure. Like she was literally teaching a dom how to flog. The next time it was like Black Ad Tech Week. And so 7 women who didn't know each other sat in a circle and shared all of their sexual desires, their traumas, strangers. And
Not
it was
a corporate whole circle.
and it was so dope. It was so dope. And then the last time I went with an ex-partner, but that chapter to me, especially now living in Atlanta, it's been really interesting to be in the Bible Belt, seeing how different it is. Like in New York, I didn't realize the privilege that we have to live out loud. Our sexual preferences, our identities, however we want to be, we can be in New York. And now moving back to the South, I'm like, oh, especially us, Black and brown people don't have that privilege. A lot of them still go to church on Sundays and have to kind of identify with what the church tells them how they should do. And so it's just really dope that over the last 13 years living in New York, I got to find my community. I got to find lifestylers. I got to find people who know that BDSM could be safe. Like that's why I hate the conversation around the Diddy trial right now, because it's muddying what consensual freakiness, BDSM, all of that can look like. And it's just getting a little muddy.
Well, I've been listening to y'all for a long time. And this stuff that happened in the Diddy trial, I ain't never heard y'all talk about.
No, I ain't gonna hold you.
Until I read the book and learned another new term for people who love semen.
A bukkake?
There you go.
Didn't know about that
No.
word.
So great.
And when I'm saying, I'm like, oh, Diddy's a bukkake brother.
Yeah, you know what? And is.
I didn't realize.
Now you spitting it up. That's not what bukkake is, Loren.
No, I don't. It all go down.
But the way Weezy described it, she was like, I love it. I love to
Oh my God,
see it. I love to see it dripping out.
I feel like I'm listening to my dad tell the
But
story.
I don't want people to think that this book is sex, but it's all has a purpose to it.
Do you know what's crazy? We had a call with Charlotte. Like the amount of time it actually took for us to write this book. You have two people where, yes, we agree on so many things. We have different approaches to life. And I think you get to read that in the book, but it was really important to me as liberated women, as having the podcast Horrible Decisions for so long. For me, starting the pod at 26 and now being 34 years old, it was really important for me to share like my regret, where I had shame, like where I've learned from my own mistakes that this is not how I want to like receive love anymore. And so I literally get to where even how like casual sex is different now. I seek intimacy. Like there's so many differences in the ways we have to unlearn how we show up in the bedroom or how we show up with men or women in partnerships. So I just really like that when having the conversation with Charlotte, he was like, nah, y'all got to put like those reflective moments. You have to dig into the mental health of it because sex and navigating dating and relationships is mental health. Like y'all know these men will have you throwed.
And I mean, that's something. Go ahead.
I was going to say, even the trigger warning, I thought that the trigger warning was so responsible of you guys, because when you watch a podcast, you just never know what you're going to get.
Yes.
And you just have to kind of know you guys. But with the book, because you don't see you, and this trigger warning, when you tell people to like prioritize their well-being and consider skipping some sections if they need, I was like,
It's like a TV show. You ever watch like General Hospital and then you in a bad mood? Or not General Hospital, sorry. What's the other one? Grey's Anatomy. Like you just get in a mood. There's some shows that get you in a happy mood. Like I have a comfort show I watch to go to bed. So with this book, considering that there's not one story in here, I feel like I could bet my life that a woman doesn't connect to, whether it be assault, whether it be even the confusion and conversation surrounding having someone hurt you that you love, so you look away from it, or trauma within figuring out who you are with your sexuality. Like, I know that with myself, I have a story about how my mom knew I liked women when I was a kid. But imagine someone reading that and didn't have those open arms. My mom definitely was still black. Mama like, okay, kiss them girls. Who gonna have a baby? Which one of y'all gonna have a baby, right? Not everybody gets to experience that. And so where Mandii talks about even some of her pleasures being confusing because of homophobia, like, we don't know who we are sometimes while we're on this journey. So to be able to make a guidebook essentially felt really good. There was something that I've been talking about recently. We offer a masterclass that comes free with the book.
Because y'all know people love free stuff. Like, they'll get it, but they're like, what I get else? So we was like, okay, we've been pushing people to pre-order the book. It's out now. But for this whole first week that the book is out, we created a masterclass broken into the same pain, pleasure, progression chapters.
So if you're reading about, like you read probably in the portion that you're in, like the story about me with women, like I talk about learning how to
please a woman
I was
as a
going to
woman.
say, does the masterclass teach you the physical things you talk about, as well as how to deal with the mental
I take
side?
my hands and my fingers. I go, this is how you do it.
So explain your 3, and I'll explain mine 3. So for pain.
In pain, I'm not sure what I have in pain. I think I don't
Red
do
flags. Getting over.
Oh, yeah. So I sit with a
navigating.
dating coach who basically walks you through every single green flag and red flag you should be seeing and knowing on a date. Because in the book, our dating experiences are fucked up. That's why I want everybody to know. Is this camera for the... I'm not telling you that I'm a dating expert. I'm just telling you I dated all these niggas. There's 400 pages of it, and we learned.
And women.
And I learned. And so then I said, damn, well, we can't be preachy because, you know, people learn with us and through us. So in the course, I sit with her and we learn that. In the next one, I talk all about money because I'm 34 years old. I've been able to do very well for myself, own several businesses, retire my parents. And I feel like everybody always asks me what to do. So I listed out every single thing
I
I've
love
done.
that chapter because that, you know, we always hear conversations about sugar daddies. And my thing is, look, what are you getting out of it other than dick?
Yep.
And don't get me wrong.
You did it right,
Love the
Weezy.
Louis bag. But then I was like, hold on. If the bag is more than the bank account, are we even
What are we
here?
talking about?
Right.
Yeah.
So I break down, you know, how to spend your money, whether you got $1,000 or $10,000, where to allocate it. And then, of course, literally how to eat vagina. But what's cool about it has like worksheets attached, like, and one of my favorite portions of it is the manifestation rituals I do. So there's like 5 minutes of me telling you how to visualize and manifest. And I learned how to do this for myself. I don't think I'm smarter than any of my friends. I dropped out of college, but somehow there are a lot of people in my life I do better than. And I really think it's just because I know how to get what I want through just thinking about it. The more that I meet successful people, they all say the same thing. They all say they knew it was coming, they felt it, and I've like truly learned how to visualize.
At what point in your lives did y'all understand like your own personal duality? Because there's so much, like it's the business person, it's you were able to have the sexual conversations. Like when did you really understand that you could do all things and be okay with it?
Ooh, it's so funny because I think I'm still trying to navigate that. We were just in Cannes, and it's so crazy because I went to this beautiful panel, salon culture conversations. It was so just wonderful. They had us pull out cards, and the card was, how did you know you had your, like, this power? Like, what did power look like for you? And for me, it was now finding the purpose. I think I told Charla this as well. Like this book, the people we meet, right before going there, I met a woman who literally came to me and she just started crying. She said, you helped me get through this part of my life. And so we're running a 7-figure business here with the podcast, with the book, with all these things. There's meaning behind what we're doing and we're staying here. And so there's sometimes where I'm like, dang, I overshared. I put too much into this book. I'm like, whoa, you know what? There's power in how we've been able to change people's lives. The vulnerability is power. And so for me, I'm like, we just blend it all in one together. And that's what I think allows us to keep going, honestly.
The duality is the brand too, you know,
Yeah.
like thinking about the origin of this show. We were corporate girls that started telling our little sex stories, right? If you watched the first episode of Brilliant Idiots we were ever on, I'm in a suit. Mandii called out, I think, but like I had to come from work.
I think I had to call out of work, girl.
Yeah.
Our journey in this is like just so crazy. That was back when I worked, mind you, I worked at EY. I was a Big Four accountant. Literally going to H&M right here in Times Square, Yes, I shop at H&M.
That's right, we all do. I got H&M jeans on right now.
You know what I mean?
remember H&M did that little monkey, the jungle thing.
I mean, okay. But anyway, I was literally sharing how I would have to go from the club to the store to get me an outfit to go right into work. And so those were kind of like our beginning stories. We was having fun. We was outside.
I used to see Weezy walking down the street in Wall Street with her pantsuit on, looking all corporate, like, Weezy! Like, yeah, that's Weezy.
Yo, it's so crazy to like have an evolution of, you know, when people become little fake famous, like I'm gonna say it, like podcasters, reality stars, they think they can't have a regular job. Bro, I was really up in that office, like sitting there figuring out what we were gonna talk about for the day.
Yeah.
Hey, sucking dick at 12, like boom, but also doing my reports. And I think people think there's only one way, and the duality of it made it so fun. So today, even there's been moments where, not today, but I'd say halfway through the pod, I even lost myself, like, oh, well, I was the businesswoman and now I'm kind of this entertainer. Like, who am I? And there's so many evolutions of that too with us as women. Like, how do I be this sexual girl but still let someone know that I want love? Mm-hmm. How can I be seen that way? I was talking to Karen, who I met with you.
Salute to Karen. Yep.
And she said something to me that I found interesting. She goes, it's so funny how now finding love is like exciting for people to watch you because you were the party girl, the fun girl. People think that it doesn't happen.
Mm-hmm. Girl, you was also a lover girl.
Yeah,
you done had a boyfriend every year.
But
It's
two sides of it.
But
Yeah.
who
The
wants
duality.
you? That's what she's
who
saying.
wants you, yes.
Who wants you? You're the girl who's always out there. You on your stories talking about, who's going to want you? And she's like, people love hearing this because they don't believe it for themselves. Let me tell you something. All my friends that don't go out and don't have a good time while they're single, bitch, he doesn't like you more. He doesn't care. He doesn't care if you at the house. He doesn't care. They don't care. Go live your life. Go have fun. Go swipe right. Like, why are we stopping ourselves for this person that doesn't exist?
And ladies, unless you want to date the Uber Eats driver, staying in your house ain't gonna make you meet no man. You gotta get outside.
God, like,
you gotta get outside.
but you know, we're told so much that we have to act this certain way. And I think that's the beauty of this book is like, oh, okay, maybe they were a little crazy. I don't want to say the word hoe because we've grown. But maybe they were some wild, fun girls, carefree. You know, that's how you clean it up back in the day. But you can still get there. And we just don't believe that. We don't believe that sexual liberation, sexual exploration can exist while also being respected. And I started to have that conversation with her. And yes, like even I thought it wouldn't happen for me. I thought they're not going to want to be with me for real. Even by saying I like women, what do men think immediately? Threesome. I mean, yeah, it's coming, but still not in the beginning.
Wait, I mean, y'all have
We're talking to Mandii and Weezy, okay, the host of Decisions, their new book, No Holds Barred, is available everywhere today. Go ahead,
Period.
I was trying to find the chapter. There's a chapter where you talk about this.
Which one?
Why don't we cheat together?
Why don't we cheat together? Yep.
Yeah, so let's get into that chapter and just the conversation around threesomes and the cheating together and if it works, if it doesn't work.
So I have been talking about this for almost a decade, and I almost am starting to advise against it because I think it's a little too in our face. I think we're seeing too many men with multiple girlfriends under the I'm polyamorous umbrella, and it's not really fair because a lot of women don't sign up for this. I'm a woman that's not only bisexual, but I enjoy being somewhat of what's called a cuck queen. I like to watch you with someone else. I like sharing. I like feeling like we're doing something together. So whereas I don't really feel good with my partner having sex and having girlfriends outside of my relationship, I like us having a little girlfriend. That feels very comfortable for me. That feels safe for me. But I don't know how that safety looks for others. So I talk about it in a good and a bad way. I talk about a man that manipulated me while doing it and I didn't realize it. And then I talk about how safe and beautiful it can look. So my ex-girlfriend and I used to do this. And we would call each other and talk about the dudes we were going to go out with. Be like, okay, I'll see you tomorrow. And go on our separate dates. And then meet someone and choose them together. Like, there's a lot that goes into non-monogamy. There's a lot of communication. And the problem is we decide we want to do this when something's off. Well, let's open it up since we're not working right now. You got to be at the highest patina of happiness to do that. Yeah. Like you and your wife. Y'all are really happy.
Absolutely. I liked it when you was talking about the guy that you was dealing with. And the guy was such a hoe, but he didn't have to be because you was down to do all of this stuff with the other women anyway. So to me, it was just about the honesty of it all.
You know what that is for men? And Mandii and I think, both kind of experienced this. Men are hearing this all the time. Just tell me, I won't get mad. And they're used to someone getting mad.
Yep.
So we're a real safe space, but no one believes it because they're doing what they've been taught. That dude that was lying to me literally told me to my face, I'm like, why are you lying when I'm allowing this? And he said, the more I fall in love with you, the more I don't want to tell you what I do.
Damn.
When we was just in the beginning stage, it was fun to tell you about, oh, I met a girl, I had sex with her last night, ha, babe. Not anymore. Not when we with each other.
Which is crazy, yeah. So back to the, you lie to the ones you love. Bullshit. I hate that.
They really
But
love
yes.
that. You know, but I think that the lie and the respect level is different. In my
No, I just don't think that they accept who they really are. Like, I think it's a hard pill to swallow for a man to accept who he really is and how he shows up. Because if he's showing up hurting you, if he's showing up doing all these things, I think deep down inside they don't want to. And so it's harder for them to just admit that maybe they're not great people. They're not great partners. They're not great lovers. And I think it takes a lot in therapy and for people to be able to look at themselves in the mirror and realize, dang, I'm not that good of a person. No one really wants to admit when they're not good people. And so if you're showing up constantly hurting multiple people, that's what you are. And
But
I just
you know
don't
what they
think men
say?
want to do that.
Well, I let her know. She know what it is. And people will stand on that and they'll feel good about that. And that's the thing my homeboys call me about when they read the book. He's like, bro, I really be telling all these girls about each other and feeling good about what I did. And even though I know they don't like it, but I'm like, well, at least I was honest. So there's so many layers to maturity and to these open relationships that a lot of people don't have the language for.
Yeah.
Like,
It's
they're
the
not
language.
ready for this shit.
I feel like the honesty card sometimes is the manipulation if not done well. Because it's like,
Ooh.
you put yourself in a corner, you put the girl kind of, or whoever you're dating in the corner where it's like, but I told you. So then it's like, how do I argue my way out of it? Because you did, but that didn't make it okay.
Lauren, I think that's the power that we as women have to have. If you're not okay with it, if the honesty does hurt you, choose to leave. If he's someone who can't show up as the person that you really desire and actually want, leave that person.
The way that women attach, as you can see, like the chapter you talking about, Shar, is how do you know
When you stayed too long?
When you stayed too long.
Yes.
Because he had a good job. He was cute. Yeah, he cheated, but don't they all cheat? That's in my head.
Y'all moved to Mexico together.
And I was having fun. So this is the thing. I didn't really say all these bad things because there was so much good. I didn't understand that what was happening in my relationship was bad. And I think people get to that 2-3 year mark where they just
it
like,
takes people some time.
oh, like I'm stuck. I should be getting treated better. And you know, that relationship really ruined me a little bit because then I thought, damn, I really do like sleeping with other people with my partner. I really do love women. How am I going to do this again and expect it to go well?
So that's what, like, in the book No Holds Barred, I think that's what we hope the women take from it, right? Like, we hope that kind of in different stories they see themselves or a previous self or maybe leaning into the direction based on our own stories, and they're able to reflect on, okay, what should my next move be? Or how do I know how to handle this the next time I get into it based on this? And it's really just hoping that women find their own power in navigating what they really want, how to communicate it, how to get the partners they deserve. Because I do think, like, and this is going to sound bad, I do think everyone is with who they deserve.
What do you mean?
If you're with someone who isn't that great to you, it's because you don't believe you deserve better.
Ooh.
And so,
Mandii.
I've been talking to this a lot with so I had this recent conversation. I went to Malta and I'm sitting around a group of women and we're talking about the Diddy trial. And what happens is these women start sharing all of these abusive relationships that they were in. And they talk about how they didn't feel safe even to share with the men in their lives because the men in their lives were like, well, if he touch you, if he do this, I'm going to jail because I'm going to come. And so I shared this story online and it was so sad how many men were like, yeah, but then we step in and they stay. So then what? And I'm just like, whoa. Basically even saying, like, how do you know you stayed too long? Everyone in certain relationships, I feel like they deserve it because it's like, if you don't want better for yourself, no one can lead you out of it.
It's
You could take a horse to water, but you can't make him drink it. And so I do think that if you're in a bad relationship or not, you don't feel like you deserve more. You're in a relationship you deserve. And so, like, literally in the book, I talk about being like, oh, girl, you ain't have no self-worth for yourself. Oh, you was desperate. Oh, you were insecure. And I think it takes a lot of time for women to say those words about themselves. And so until you're able to do that, the person you're with is probably more of a reflection of who you are.
We could do it for our friends. your homegirl's in a bad relationship. Why are you accepting that? Meanwhile, we 7 texts deep with no reply. For some reason, we can help everybody but ourselves. And for me, I've always wanted love in a relationship that was true. So what was happening was, in my 20s, I was kind of just figuring it out. Like, oh, well, this is a good guy. I gotta stick. He's got a great job. Oh, he's handsome, or he's this, or my mom likes him. I'd hold on to this thing that would make everything okay. It's like when you don't want to leave a job. You find something about this job that's decent, even though...
Girl, to pay, bills gonna keep coming.
Right. And I think that was what made my favorite chapter of mine. It fluctuates, but when I read the love chapter back, the biggest thing about finding love for me today is like, oh, it wasn't no bullshit healed. I didn't go on a solo vacation and find myself. Like, it really was, I made space for him in my life. I accepted flaws about myself that I fixed. I created the life that I wanted to have with a partner. I also saw a lot of love in other people. And so the problem sometimes with us is like, we're a product of what we're surrounded by. Like, you're going to compare your ain't shit nigga to your homegirl. Oh, well, he got 4 baby moms. My man don't do that. And you start comparing. And it's the thief of joy, because you'll literally be happier if you release yourself from that man. Like, I've seen love not only with my parents, but actually, your wife's 40th birthday. You were
we was in Turks.
Yes. There was an image of you I have in my head that I always remember, because I remember how I would feel when it happens to me. He was with his daughters. They're all taking a picture. His wife got no shoes on because you brought out, who was DJing? Who was singing?
Spinderella.
And she was losing her mind, trying to like, hurry up with this picture. Okay, I love you. And going to dance, and he's laughing. He's holding his kids. I'm like, oh, this is ultimate happiness. Because this isn't just money. We were on a great villa on the beach. Thanks, Shark. But that was just family fun and friends. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna have that. I see what it feels like. He's laughing. He's with his people. It's just so easy. It's simple. It's a simple pleasure. It's just music. It's just dancing. And a lot of us don't get to see happiness in that way. We don't get to see love surrounding everybody. We don't get to see their friends, celebrating each other. And I think I needed that. I need to see that from my homegirls too. And once 100%. It finally happened, I was like, great. So once I knew what it felt like and it looked like, it came to me like that.
I love that chapter in the book where you talk about how, basically you can't pick your family, right? But your friends are the people you choose.
Oh, that was what I said.
And it's like,
I think she like,
I said that. We probably both said that. We probably both said that.
I talk about safety.
I talk about how I didn't even get to choose my name. You don't get to choose your parents. That's in my introduction. But who you get to choose are who really stands out as your family.
And those people have to love you regardless. Those people that love you regardless of everything, your flaws and everything, that's your core.
People. I think
we both probably talked about that, because when you have women that are, let's just say, living an alternative lifestyle or have things that they want to talk about with their friends but can't, we both need that safe space. That's an easy story for someone that's living like us, right? Because how many people in our lives are going to accept it? You really got to go and seek them out. When people ask me things like that, like, oh, well, how do you find or how do you feel better about XYZ? Like, oh, I go seek out the community. Yeah. I literally was on Instagram one day, made a post like, I need a really fun girl to hang out with tonight, preferably black. I'll take POC. I'm going to go get drinks. Here. 3 girls showed up.
Yeah.
Wow. Just randomly?
Yep. And one of them's still my friend today. And that was literally it. And it sounds crazy, but I just met up with these girls. Yeah. And I know it could sound desperate to some. It could sound silly, but that's what I was on. I moved to New York. I was single, alone. I wanted fun. And you really have to seek your community. It can't be sitting in the house.
And community can come from, my favorite chapter in the book, personally, comes with a trigger warning. Probably the chapter that I knew had to be in this book was my decision to have an abortion when I was in high school. And so my friend at the time, my mom couldn't even afford the $500 abortion. My daddy said, figure it out.
Don't give it all up. Don't tell the whole story.
Well, I want them to read into it, because I think what's important is my friend who worked at Cold Stone
came through
with that. And I think why that chapter is my favorite is because that took place in my summer going into my junior year of high school. Do you know I never spoke to my mom or that friend in the 17 years since until writing this book?
So you say that.
So I don't my makeup is done, so I don't want to cry. But it was so emotional to be like, damn, this was a decision I made and I didn't even consider what it meant for you two. And so for me, it was very important with the reversal of Roe v. Wade happening, and we were talking about women losing their autonomy, but abortion still being shameful. I was like, that was a decision that I'm so happy I made. I'm 34 and don't want children. I just told Charlotte in Cannes, I said, thank you, because this is my baby. This is my legacy.
You didn't just tell me. You told the whole room.
I told the whole room.
You told the whole room.
And Eva Longoria now knows I don't want kids.
There, Malcolm Gladwell was there.
Listen, Malcolm Gladwell,
Questlove,
all the iHeart
You just shamed everybody who had a child there.
I said, F them kids. I don't want them. Happy that you got them, but I don't want them.
When I tell you, I don't know if anyone else is in a duo for work or business or whatever. Mandii gets up there. Let me just sit up. We're in the French Riviera.
We are.
Now, Black Effect is out there, and here's the Black lineup. It's Charlamagne, Questlove, Malcolm Gladwell, me, and Mandii.
Oh,
yep.
Now, I don't mean that like
razzle dazzle, huh?
So, they have us at the end.
By the way, let's be very clear. We was the last to speak. They said best for last, they let us speak last.
I got up, I said, I know you guys may not know who we are. They put us last because y'all are 3 glasses of wine in and we going to talk about sex. Then Mandii get her ass on the mic and says, well, this book, I want to thank Charlamagne. Fuck them kids.
No, I ain't gonna hold you. I said, I don't want none, and he gave me purpose in my life because they be attaching legacy to kids. And I was like, what if they become serial killers? No, I didn't say that part.
Whoa.
But also, that's what I be thinking.
And these white people are sitting there with their phones just...
And then here we go. So then I go from saying, thank you, Charlotte, for giving me my baby, you my baby daddy. And literally going from that to Weezy's like, and we have this book about, you know what? Eva Longoria, come and help us read our book.
No, before that, Weezy goes, I wanted to hear Malcolm Gladwell say pussy, but Eva.
Literally. So Eva smiles. Eva is a doll. Eva is like, oh my God.
So yes, the question was, who in the room would you want to read the book? And that's a true answer. I really want to hear Malcolm Gladwell say pussy. But Eva's here, so I guess it'll be her.
And then she stands up, and I'm like, oh my God, what's happening? So Weezy and I have had this game when we have guests on our show to pick a page number from the book. From 0 to 300, pick a number. She picked a little low. I was nervous. She said 15. So I'm like, God damn, that might be an introduction. No, it's not. It's actually the chapter on masturbation. Yes. So in front of all of the execs, in front of all the things,
it's like, we have to make yourself calm.
We have Eva Longoria giving people over wine in the French Riviera ways in which masturbation can get
in my head, I'm like, oh my God, there were so many smarter ones. Why couldn't she get the one about like the scales of homosexuality? Like, why the fuck she in there?
Masturbation.
That was a good one though.
DIS.
Because when Eva started reading, she was like, it is relaxing. I forgot what it was. She was like, this is relaxing.
It does help me go to sleep at night.
I know we're supposed to sell the book right now, but let me say something. Eva was so beautiful and charming.
Don't do this, because I done already said, calm down.
I wanted to start speaking Spanish.
You see what she be doing?
She making the little Spanish Black Effect, bitch. They already think I'm Dominican. Oh, you're not? Hola.
No, don't do this, Loren. Did you just say you not?
She kind of gives it.
We are black.
First of all, I'm a regular negrita. Okay. Mixed with a little leche.
But so Eva made you start speaking in tongues.
Yeah, see.
But here's the thing. Mandii and Weezy are good in any room, you know, and it was interesting to watch the impact that you had on Eva, because she even went and posted about y'all later.
I couldn't believe that.
She posted y'all book later and was like, pre-order it.
Hold on, not only that, hit the follow, share some DMs. We friends now.
You know, I thought you asked her to do that until you wrote me and said, how do I post this too? Like,
first off, how did she get the pictures? Yeah. I'm like, how does Eva have like camera ready pictures? We ain't get no Dropbox link.
You know what felt good about that moment? There's so many rooms we're in where someone knows us or has heard of us. So I don't get to be someone's first impression a lot. And it felt good to see it again, because I knew the feeling when Mandii and I first came out. People were like, oh my God, these girls are great. Oh my God, I love this. Everybody needs this. To see that from someone like Eva felt good. Get me in front of Kamala. I'm gonna do the same thing.
No, Kamala, I think Kamala would love y'all.
Yeah, I feel like she'd be.
But I think that y'all give people the permission to be themselves.
Please,
and that's what this book does. Like, even more so than the podcast. I want to ask y'all that. How do y'all think this book will hit differently than just listening to the podcast?
I mean, I think for me, we like to laugh at sex, laugh at ourselves, make everything a joke. I think in this book, I share a lot of my childhood and upbringing. I think you have to go to the root of why you date the way you date, why you might like the things you like in the bedroom. And so for me, this hits different because it'll make you do your own kind of Rolodex of your own history. How are you who you are today?
The podcast
And sit with that.
Also in real time most of the time. So like,
No, it
maybe
ain't.
we're
I'm
navigating.
still in a relationship on the podcast that I got out a month ago. I'm like,
You're
God
not
dang
with
it.
the guy from the
No.
other country. What country
Yeah, I
was
know.
it?
He was British. Girl, no, we broke up. Long distance.
Breakfast Club, you gotta give
On
our
the Breakfast
tea up
Club,
on our
I'm
own
sorry.
shit.
I am, but like, yeah, we still in a relationship on the podcast, but we not.
By real time, I meant like, let's just say we're going through this relationship. For example, the one that I realized was bad. I'm telling you my relationship is great on the show because I thought it was great. You know what I mean? I'm having a great time. I'm having fun. I'm not really being intentional about what I need for my life. It was also the pandemic. I was just going to take them. You know what I'm saying? I was going to take them. I was like,
The world was ending.
He a hoe, but he ain't on unemployment. So
You're not a pandemic boy.
So basically, I think the book, you get to see the evolution of certain stories and certain stories that, not saying you need to care about them from the pod, like literally a bad breakup, whether it be an assault, something about, you know, just money, how we feel and value ourselves when it comes to men with money, how that affects how you get treated, power. You know, they say the whole world wants the same 20 niggas. Like, I mean, and it's true. Like, we put so much.
Me and my friends don't want the same guys.
The
Thank
emphasis
God.
that we put on men as women, the desirability of them to where we lose it for ourselves, it starts to unfold a little bit in a way that kind of is shameful. I already know I'm going to hear people laugh about some of the things that I said or think I look silly or stupid, but I'm just admitting it. You aren't. Or maybe it hasn't hit you yet.
No, that's true. Because one of my homegirls yesterday was like, you got to find me a king. And I was like, well, I think you need to read Weezy and Mandi's book because, you know, your king might be a queen. Or you might have you might have soulmates. Seriously, I was like, there's a bunch of different ways to have relationships now that you might need to
Not be
exploring.
considering.
Yeah.
And you know what she said to me?
What?
I've already tried the polygamy. I've already tried a woman. I'm like,
Because you ain't know.
I thought I did, but I didn't.
You can't blast it because if you're a sexually free woman or even a woman that like knows that you look good or anything, people, especially a black woman, I feel like people throw all these things about what you don't know about yourself. For you two ladies, I would love to ask y'all, like when people put sexual freedom with you don't know your worth, how does that make y'all feel? Because you know your worth.
That's so hurtful, Loren, because like that's what made our job really hard. Nobody would respect us because they're like, well, you just out there fucking, so what do you know? You know what I mean? Like,
Or of course y'all have views. It's a podcast about sex and sex sells, no pun intended. But like literally they diminished who we are as businesswomen because of the content and us being open about what we enjoy.
the freedom is the power. Like, we all know a hoe that ain't out there. She could be a regular 9-to-5 in her situationship with a dude that she ain't used a condom with, that she know got 5 other women. Who's sexually free? Because I bet you it ain't me that's worried about the smell down there. Because I'm figuring it out. I'm using the condoms. I'm waiting. There's a story about
That was a crazy chapter. too.
Yeah.
The
Oh,
whole
wait,
BV
I made the guy
BV
get the
chapter.
Uber?
The BV conversation. is
like
crazy.
that's the thing.
I mean,
like,
you got to be honest about as women, you're the health.
we're not protecting ourselves because we're so like, you know, boy crazy or focused on this end goal instead of thinking about us. So I think sexual freedom looks like truly wanting it for yourself, not someone else's pleasure.
Yeah.
Right? Like being liberated is something that people don't believe because they don't think that women can actually enjoy having fun doing this. That's just unbelievable to people. Oh, wow. So you had a one-night stand on your vacation and you don't feel bad about yourself? Like, that's what
Nope. And I had it with a couple. Y'all can read that in the book too.
But also
that actually was fly.
the unicorn story. I was a unicorn.
But see, even
had a
that,
good
When
time.
you went to go whale shark hunting or something like that?
No, I swam with whale sharks.
Whale shark-
None
yeah.
of my friends would do it.
you
Hold
got a
on.
lot of vacations, sis.
I mean, and
Yeah.
do. But that chapter ended up
we don't have
becoming
jobs,
something.
Lauren, that's why.
Period.
We work
have
24/7
jobs.
now.
Real job. We ain't got no PT. We out.
But it all adds to the podcast. So wait, you were swimming with the
Yeah,
shark?
but like,
Or
so
whales.
even that chapter ended up being in terms of sexual freedom, right? Like, we limit ourselves so much by what we think the perceptions and views will be of society, our friends, our family members. And so that was a solo trip to Mexico that I took. And literally I saw this couple, both of them was fine. So I walk up on Brigham Shots and I spend the weekend with this couple and it's beautiful. And I'm like, dang, I wonder how many times we don't leave with someone or shoot our shot at somebody because we're in fear of rejection or we're in fear that our friends may make fun of us or we're in fear that society's gonna think I'm fast or I'm this. And so it really like that chapter becomes like making sure you're in tune with going after the things that you want.
It's preconceived notions also, like what will people think of me? Just to give you an example, and this isn't a bad bias, it's what we know. Your wife said to my boyfriend and I, when we were talking about kids, we were talking to your daughter and she's making jokes. Mm-hmm. He says something about when we have kids. She goes, y'all want kids? Very confused. And I'm like, of course. And then she says, well, you'll be a great mom. So when we were in the car home, he's like, I wonder why she thinks that. And I'm like, of course we know why she thinks that, because I'm Weezy from Horrible Decisions who's having fun. I'm not talking about how we're family planning right now. Why would someone assume that? And the dots don't connect. We don't think you live.
They will when you read the book.
Yes,
yeah.
The dots
but
will
we don't
connect.
think that you want this life and that life. That's why we're having sex with all these women now, so we can finish when I'm pregnant.
Listen, I got a final question. Do both of you have a better understanding of your own power after writing this book?
Oh, absolutely. I think to be honest too, we talked about like you have the journey of healing. I don't believe anyone's ever fully healed. I think the journey that I'm experiencing, the things that I learned from my 20s now being in my 30s, I think by the time I get in my 40s, I'm going to be an even better version of myself. So I think the power that I have right now and understanding myself is a work in progress. And I think that when you read the book, when you get into the chapters, even though every chapter ends with a period, it's not over. All of those stories are still evolving, and I can probably add another 3 or 4 pages next year to each of these stories. None of them are over, and I'm gonna have a, evolution of how I think by next year than what's in the book, which I really love is that it's cemented here, but there's really no period at the end of everything. Like, you can see that all of our stories are still evolving.
I would say I learned that my power is that I'm a teacher. For a long time, people would say we're sexperts or we're educators, and I would shy away from it because we don't have this degree that says it. But every single time I finished something, I felt like, oh, someone's going to take this from it. Someone's going to feel released from something from it. Like, I did not realize how we learn differently. Storytelling truly is the dot connector. When you go to a panel or something like that, you probably don't remember the 1, 2, 3 thing, but you remember the story they told you about rejection or success. It's the same with this. I don't want every woman to be suffering with love or heartbreak or money
or body image or security
or just feeling confusion. And like, dating is just so difficult because it starts to make you think differently of yourself. So when writing this, I'm like, oh, this is such a teachable moment. Even the way the book ends. Mandii talking about self-love is so powerful. Me talking about how I had to get to the self-love to get the guy. Like, it's all connected. It's so much of a mirror to yourself that even men, while reading it, will probably understand any woman they've come across, whether you date women or don't.
I agree, and I'm not saying this just because the book is on Black Privilege Publishing with Simon & Schuster. I love stories that I've never heard before. I like reading perspectives that I've never heard before, and I love honest, authentic conversations and honest, authentic people. And reading this made me uncomfortable in a good way.
I love that.
In a good way.
Love that.
Because I want to know what girls and women are feeling and experiencing and thinking. And this book explores the shadow side of people in ways that folks only share with their therapists. And you all,
shared it with the world.
But you love tea. That's why you love this. I'll never forget something Jesus said about you. He said, Charlamagne's sitting up there like a pig in shit, like, ooh.
Look at him. He's trying to very much. I tell him all the time, he's one of the girls.
I like a little kiki. I like a good kiki.
You love a kiki.
You love a
We
kiki.
all invest
Good
with a
kiki.
kiki
You
with too, because his energy.
Tell me.
You've told me sometimes, I gotta call you back, and I be telling you I got something. Oh, no, I'm good.
Well, no, for real. What you put out into the world comes back, and y'all have gave so much of yourself in this book. I expect nothing but abundance for you both because of this project, No Holds Barred. So go out there, get No Holds Barred, a dual manifesto of sexual exploration and power, available everywhere you buy books now. Run down some book tour dates. Where y'all at?
Well, if you want if you want the master class, go to our Instagram page @_decisions. The link for the form is there. All you have to do is upload proof of purchase.
You could buy the book
It could be a
anywhere.
screenshot of your online order. It could be a picture of the receipt. Just upload your receipt, give us your email, and we'll directly send you the masterclass. So make sure y'all cop that. And then today, Brooklyn, We are signing books with a moderated talk with our good girl Passport Cuddy. Yes,
I love her.
All the girls love her.
Oh my God.
So it's in Brooklyn tonight at 7:00.
At Word, right?
At Word in Brooklyn on Franklin Street. So y'all come and see us there. And then we are at Uncle Bobby's tomorrow in Philadelphia.
At 7 p.m.
Yes, at 7 p.m. Thursday, then we are in D.C.
At Solid State Books.
Solid State Books. And then we are in New Haven, Connecticut for the first time on Friday at the Pride Center.
And you don't even have to be gay to go in there. Totally.
Yeah, so we're really excited. And then also if you're in Atlanta, I will be at 4th and 3rd Bookstore on
June
Sunday.
29th. Yep.
And then in LA on July 2nd, it's going to be next Tuesday, I'm going to be with Shan Booty. She always says she's the daytime version of us. We nighttime.
Oh, so she's like a
At the
sexologist.
Reparations
Yes.
Club.
I be knowing the girls.
Reparations.
Yes, I
So
like her
bring your
too.
book.
And she
That's a
also
good
gave
lineup.
us one of the quotes on our book. So shout out to Shan Booty as well as Kiki Palmer. She gave us something as well for the front of our book. So
This should be a series, man. If White Lotus can get their shit off, then
Come
y'all
on,
can get this off. I'm telling you.
I want to see
Listen,
a Dick in a Cage on HBO. I would like to see that.
Damn.
you know, there we go. Chastity belt. There we go.
So it's in the bug.
No Holds Barred out right now. Go pick it up. Mandii, Weezy, love
Yep,
y'all.
and just so you know, that's just this week, our book signing. We are going on the road starting at the end of the month. NHBtour.com. We're hitting about 19 cities, and we're bringing the pod and book to the stage combined. So it's going to be a good time.
What's the website again?
NHBtour.com.
This week is super
HBtour.com.
important if y'all want that master class. Men, just listen. If you don't want to read a book, give it to somebody. No, just please, how to eat vaginas in that master class.
Yep.
And I'm just telling you, we need you. Your girl needs me. And I can't show up. You need this. It's a few minutes. Just please.
Get that thing.
Loren, am I lying? They
No,
don't know
I'm-
what to do.
I'm sitting here thinking like a woman teaching a man that is, yes.
God,
And you get
That's
it by
not your
just
woman?
You get it by just purchasing the book.
please just get it.
No Holds Barred.
Yes.
Mandii and Weezy. And subscribe to the Decisions podcast on the Black Effect iHeartRadio
That's
Podcast
right.
Network. It's The Breakfast Club.
Wake that ass up.
In the morning.
The Breakfast Club.